some episodes ago,
Mm.
we brought here at the show Fires in the Distance album. It is called Eres Not With Us.
Mm.
And we all like this album. It's one of the most nice releases in the whole year so far.
Mm.
And we have the pleasure today to have here in your show Fires in the Distance guitarist and vocalist, the one and only Kristian Grimaldi.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure for me to be on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Kristian. What if we start with the questions, Jack?
Okay. Okay, Christian, it's a pleasure that you are here with us. The band is absolutely amazing and your job is awesome. So let's start with the first question that we have. Your new album, Air Not Mean For Us, came out on April 28th. Let me tell you that I have listened a lot this album. It for me is awesome. I really like a lot. So could you tell us a little bit more about the album, about everything related behind or related with the record with this album?
So we wanted to take our sophomore album, "They're Not Meant for Us," kind of like or put together mature version of our first album, which is Echoes from Deep November, and we decided, change the tuning of guitars, going 7-string guitars. We also wanted to continue our theme of just dealing with the struggle of having depression, but it's about dealing with the whole living life, having being very depressed, having and how the struggles of getting through that. And we just wanted to keep on singing about that, because every member in Fires in a Distance struggles with some sort of depression or anxiety. So it was a way for us, it's a release for us. So we took Echoes from Deep November, which was really kind of experimental, and I feel that this album, the second one, Here Not For Us, is kind of we found our sound. We found exactly what we're going to continue to do. So that's how that album got put together.
It's an amazing album.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sounds so good. Wallace?
Yes, I would like to ask you about. It's very interesting. The second semester, you toured with 3 dates at Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that in Florida is still a strong extreme metal scene like in the 90s?
I think that I still think so. I think it's still pretty big. Just to clarify, the question was in Florida is the extreme metal scene.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say so. I think it's changed in a way where it's not just strictly death metal, which is like Morbid Angel, like the big fan of
Sure. You have it, yeah.
Death and Deicide. I think you've got a lot more different styles, kind of more melodic death metal, and of course you have a lot of the extreme death metal bands still, but you've got more black metal as well. But in terms of it being still really big down there, absolutely.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if you know this album, Siltoid,
Siltoid?
the Omniscient, the Devin Townsend, and I know you work with some ideas from a producer in your audio. This is personal, man. I'm sorry, but I'm a Devin Townsend fan. What is the influence from Devin Townsend in your music? Because it's very interesting, because you're talking about an emotional album, and Devin Townsend released an album absolutely amazing about emotional and psychological things.
Yeah, Devin Townsend. We love Devin Townsend. I mean, back to like the Strapping Young Lad days. That's actually how I first heard of him.
Yeah.
And it was, I've seen him live, when I was in my like 18, 19 years old. And then when he did the Devin Townsend band, and we Igor and Craig actually are probably like bigger fans of him than even me. I love the guy. I think his stuff is incredible. But Igor, following him and forever.
Igor is your keyboard guy, yeah?
Yes, Igor is the other guitar player and the keyboard guy as well.
Yeah, guitar player and keyboardist.
Yeah. And but I'd say Devin influences us. For example, Randy Slaw, he is on the album. He did a lot of stuff for Devin as well on some of his albums, some of the orchestral composition, and he did that on this album as well. Which he actually reached out to us, which we weren't even expecting that. Talking, and then him and us got together via Zoom and just had conversations about how we're gonna layer things, and he added some of the keyboard ideas that Igor had wrote and kind of turned them more into true string instruments. It was really neat. But in terms of his composition and the textures and the way that he composes his songs, we're very influenced the way he does that. I think Igor, when he comes up with the initial compositions of the parts where there's going to be keyboard and stuff, that he definitely has Devin in mind for that.
Nice. So we're talking about different genres, talking about different artists. Do you feel more comfortable on festivals where other genres are, or do you prefer something more specific like doom or death metal?
I mean, me personally, as long as it's heavy, it could be heavy metal. Doesn't necessarily have to be death metal. It could even be like hard rock. I'm a very kind of versatile person when it comes to music. I don't mind playing with bands that are just heavy metal. But I also love doing festivals where you've got black metal, and you've got technical death metal, and you've got doom, and then melodic death metal, and all sorts of stuff. So the variety is great, because in the end we're all metal, we're all hard, because metal is derived from hard rock, or some people would say Black Sabbath or free. So I just love music, and I love rock and all styles of it. So I think is because I think we could fit in with really pretty much anybody if they could get used to the harsh vocals. That's thing I've heard from festival bookers is your death metal vocals are kind of specific to that genre, but the music itself, it appeals to literally everybody, even like elderly people that are into classical. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, sure.
Nice.
Your Death Doom sound reminds me a lot of Finnish bands from Finland.
Yeah.
You have some sort of Finnish band influences here in your work?
Oh, definitely. We're heavily influenced by Finnish doom death metal, melodic death metal, like Swallow the Sun and Wolfheart. I love Wolfheart.
Nice band.
They're just incredible, and I think actually it was the second Wolfheart album with that song Ruda Part 2.
Digis, is it? Digis, I think, is it? The second Wolfheart album? I don't remember it. Is it Digis?
Yes. Yeah,
yes,
that.
It? Yeah, that one.
That song Ruda Part 2. Love that song with the cellos, how it started. I think that type of writing style was really influential to us when we started putting this together. And it's actually Igor kind of introduced me to a lot more of the Finnish metal bands than I have known him, because I've always been a big fan of Swedish and Norwegian metal, American death metal, but he really kind of turned me on. Years before we were even playing together in Fires, we would hang out, drink coffee, or go to a bar, and he would show me all these cool bands. But I know for him, the way he writes, especially the keyboard parts and some of the guitar parts as well, like it's very influenced by the Finnish sound.
Sure. Yeah, cool. Alex?
I heard your two albums, and I want to know how are your lyrics composed? Which is your inspiration for songwriting?
Yeah. Um, so the way the lyrics is, we write entire song, all the orchestral parts, synth parts, guitar parts. Those are done, and then the lyrics are written after that to fit the song. So in terms of that, we just kind of still have that big theme of depression, dealing with anxiety, having trauma in your life, and they all are written by that. And a lot of it is very emotional to personal to all of us, because we have been through, all of us have been through a lot in our lives, and this is us. But we go in terms of lyrical structure, trying to make it more poetic, being just very angry and swearing every other word. We don't have to do that, because we try to kind of make it a romanticism, to it as well as it is.
But do you mean romanticism as romanticism in literature? Is it like Bram Stoker and this kind of authors? Is it?
Yes,
Okay.
very much so. And we just wanted, we want it to flow like the music. The music, certain beauty and brutality to it, and we want the lyrics. What I'm singing about is sad, but it's also beautifully constructed. And then, but the vocals are brutal, so you kind of get that beauty and brutality at the same time. We're thinking about to write the word.
That's really cool.
So the question from Jackson is: I love the sound of the synths. As we know, this is a recorded by Jigger. So have we took in add a new member to played it in live?
The keyboards, you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. As Gigori plays both guitars and keyboards,
Yeah.
do you think it would be good to have a new member for playing it live, or do you have a kind of box of music box that use in live for keyboard effects and all the stuff?
So what we do is we have a laptop, a MacBook, and we essentially run the backing tracks, which are all the keyboard parts and orchestral parts. Click track that goes in Jordan, our drummer's ear. To it, so we're the PA system is playing synth parts. I'm
Okay.
singing, Igor is playing guitar, Craig's playing bass and doing backing vocals, and then you got Jordan on the drums. But Jordan is controlling all of the backing tracks. I mean, in a way, it's easier to have the backing tracks as opposed to a real keyboard player, because one, you don't have to worry about having another member, and two, you're always going to be on time, because he's got that click track in his ear. So no matter what, we're not going to divert from the actual the timing of the song. If we had a live keyboard player, which my old band had an actual live keyboard player, you can kind of speed up and slow down live, depending on your drum and stuff, how it's pumping. But I would like to have a live keyboard player. Would prefer to keep it the way it is, just having the backing track played through the PA system. Devin Townsend does that. That's actually how we got the idea as well.
Yeah,
Backing tracks.
a lot of bands are doing that, for sure.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
This work. That's
It's
work.
working. That's working. Well, cover designer is a guy, as we know, is a guy called Kellan Stockmans, is it?
Yes.
This is we think is a really talented artist and performs a really fantastic work. Did you use for the album cover a previous idea, or which was the original idea for doing album cover?
So the album cover, the first album, Echoes from Deep November, was we just kind of, Igor and Caitlin worked together on the album art for both of the albums. But the first album, kind of Caitlin's idea. Igor told him what the album was about, and he just, drew up the picture of the kind of emaciated guy, chains, to a tree. And then for Air, Not Meant for Us, the second album, Igor and him definitely worked a lot more together, specifically on that album. We wanted to have, I think initially, instead of having a woman kind of by the string there, but like looking in despair. It was supposed to be a man, but Kalen, I think it was his idea to have a woman, which we like that better actually, so we stuck with it. But really, we kind of tell Kalen what we want, and he draws it up, and sometimes he'll adjust. Have an instrumental version of this album coming out too, a couple months, and it'll be like different album artwork than the one with vocals.
Yeah.
It's actually, if you've seen our T-shirts, we have one with red and blue logos. That's actually the album artwork for, as opposed to the one with the vocals. But he's a really talented guy. He does all of our art. Igor has used him in the past for his other band, Decapitator, and that's how they met. And since then, he's been doing tons of art for other bands as well, fairly well known. So it's a real pleasure to work with him. We met him in person as well when we were playing in Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah, really nice
Yeah.
guy.